I think you have to make God happy. I'm God's favorite because I act true to God. And I act true to God because I know I'm genuinely a good person. Did God create man for you to sit on your ass and be lazy? Did God create man for you to be weak fuck? Is that why he made you? If you think it is, then you could sit there and suffer the consequence of being a fucking lazy fuck and being unlucky your entire life. But if you understand that that's not why he made you, that's not why you're here, that you have a duty, a masculine imperative to be the best possible version of yourself, then God's going to be happy with you. That's how it works. So I'm God's favorite because I act in a way that God looks at me and he's proud of me. God looks at me and goes, I made men to be X, and Andrew's doing what he's supposed to fucking do. Andrew's trying to become the strongest, richest, most important, most competent version of himself. He's trying to educate and inspire other men to do the exact same thing. I like Andrew. Look at this other man I made. He's a fat piece of shit. He's playing video games and smoking weed. I don't like his ass. That's why he's unlucky. I'm lucky. God loves me. If I got a car crash, which is never going to happen, it's never happened in my life. There's no way God let me die. I'm not out here doing anything treacherous. I'm not a traitor. I don't do anything bad. The Matrix can say I'm a bad person because they're fucking liars. I know I'm a good person. I know I live with a pure heart. The reason I'm God's favorite is because I'm out here doing exactly the things I said earlier in this stream. I wake up, I'm on time with a firm handshake. I stick to my word. I work hard. I give my best at everything I do. I'm honest. That's all it takes to be God's favorite. And if you're truly those things, you're not out here trying to do some quick buck fucking snake some bullshit. I'm telling you, all the men out here who fucking their friend's ex behind his back when they break up, and he goes, it's fine. He didn't find out and she didn't tell him. God knew. So no, it wasn't fine. You're acting in a way which is disingenuous. That shit bites you in the end. I would never fuck over a friend for $10 billion. I would never fuck over a friend. I don't care how good the pussy is. Absolutely 0% chance. God, let's imagine God is a man. If I'm a man and I have 10 people who work for me or 10 children, my favorite one is to be the one who does the things that I know or who acts in a way that I am happy with, right? So if I had 10 children and they're all acting different ways, my favorite one's gonna be the one that adheres to the rules and adheres to the tenets that I've set out. If I say you should act this way and you do act that way, then he's gonna be my favorite child. I sit here and look at every decision I make and I genuinely sit and think I am being analyzed and I'm being watched by another power. Is this going to benefit me in the long run? That's why I don't do bad shit. I just don't do bad shit to people who I love and care about. The most disgusting thing, the thing that God is most unhappy with, is treachery. Because treachery, the reason it is so frowned upon in the Bible and the Quran throughout all of history, traitors were hated the most and had the most heinous and disgusting punishments, is because treachery can't be stopped. I'm a big, dangerous man. If I see my enemy on the street, I'm going to know what's going to happen. I'm going to be ready for it. If Waller decides to sideswipe me, I'm f***ed. And that's so important, man. The number of times, let's lower it to a less deep conversation. Let's take some basic shit. Bitches, right? Number of times a girl's got rude to me, and I sat there and goes, she's being rude to me. I could put up with this shit, or I could snake around it. You know what? Goodbye. The way I view God is slightly different than a lot of people perhaps think of God. I don't see it's not a matter of reading the book and thinking there's a guy in the sky who's watching over you. I think that you can see God as an idea. Jordan Peterson's trying to tell his followers to believe in God because he likes the idea of the collective consciousness behaving in a certain manner. And I think that when that happens, God within itself exists. If you have 100 people in a room and they all do good things in the name of God, well, then God's real. Right? Because God's making 100 people act good and righteous. So you can't say God's not a real force. Whether you want to call him a person, a force, an idea, an inclination, whatever it is, God becomes a real thing. I know that if you act in a certain way, if you act in a godly way, the world is a better place. And by extension, God must exist. If you act in an evil way, then the devil must exist. Like you said, all the demonic, dangerous things they're doing in the world today, does that mean there's a man underneath the ground covered in fire who's making them do it? Or does that mean that their collective consciousness pointed in a negative direction makes the idea of the devil itself a real thing? So I know that it's more about the collective consciousnesses. You know what I'm saying? It's about having all the people in the world looking in themselves in the mirror and saying, that's ungodly. I will not act that way. And that's why you can look at countries like the ones that Myron was saying to move to, the Middle East, where they're so ridiculous. You can walk the street in Qatar with $10 million in cash. Nothing's going to happen to you. Is it because of the police or is it because of God? Yeah, okay, there is serious punishment. But there's certainly not armed cops in every corner like there are in New York. There's certainly not CCTV in every corner like there is in London. There's certainly not any of the crime-fighting apparatus that there is in the West. It's because people think that God wouldn't let me do that. So, and society functions that way. So yeah, I absolutely and utterly believe in God as an idea as a whole. And I think that's the most important thing. And I I used to be an atheist, yes, but I feel kind of uncomfortable around atheists. And also another thing about atheism that certainly put me off it is all the people who champion it. Look at all the people who are championing atheism. Gross. Find one and just look, I don't want to be you. And that I've always said I would never adopt the thinking of someone who is sad. When I see somebody who is sad or depressed and they're unhappy, and even if we change subjects and they start telling me their opinion about fucking anything, World War II, fucking their favorite movie, their favorite song, their opinion's invalid to me. You're unhappy and I'm happy. So I don't want to think very much like you at all. I don't really want to adopt any of your thinking. Like you're saying, you've just told me you're depressed and unhappy and sad. Like most of my haters on YouTube will literally openly talk about the antidepressants they're on and their depression and then come along and say he's a bad person. I'm a better person than him. I don't want to be like you people.